Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm sitting in the dock waiting, and warning, this stream could end abruptly if they give me a phone call to tell me that it's time for me to go. Um, yeah, guess that's it. So I'm trying this on StreamYard on the phone. So I don't know how this is going to go. Anyway, so I had some time. And Jamie, you are first. Good morning. Had a little bit of time because I think I might be waiting here a tiny bit. So I thought we'd hang out. And I'm still working on my coffee. And I wanted to bring something to the table, which I probably have to repeat myself as soon as people get in here. Oh, Rhodes Scholar, you are definitely, I'm so glad you're in here because you could come on and join the link and put your word in here because this subject is really kind of lines up with what you're doing right now, Rhodes Scholar. CB channel member, good morning. Buck Brown, good morning. Trucking with T-Bone, good morning. So the object of this live, and it's not going to be long, so we got to kind of do a flash dance, okay? I had a friend contact me asking me about how much money it would take to start a trucking company and get a driver and everything like that, right? Very good friend of mine from back in the day. And so I sent some information over, like a guideline, like a path, right? But I thought it might be fun to have you guys post some advice. So that's what I'm getting at. If anybody wants to come in and talk, we can try it. I am on the phone, and I'm praying that this is going to stay together. But if it doesn't, so this might be quick, and I don't want to hold you up, but this might be good to get somebody down the road a few miles too. So anyways, I hope you're all having a great day. Let me knock out the formalities. God bless you all. And in case we get cut off, it's Thursday. And this is kind of off my normal schedule thing, but I'm sitting here and this stuff is on my mind. And I'm not sure if my friend is part of the community or watches or anything, but I figure if we lay it down on video, maybe you guys can bring some advice, and then I can say, hey friend, go watch this video. Rhodes Scholar, first of all, let me say congratulations on you getting your own authority started and you're out there doing your thing. If anybody doesn't know, Rhodes Scholar was a colleague of mine at DART, and he's got his own YouTube channel. And he also documents his journey and his opinions and things on his channel. And he has recently paid off his truck at DART, left DART, and started his own authority. And so congratulations on that. He says, buy the truck with cash. Don't try it with payments. and this is things we always talk about, right, guys? But I'm trying to moosh it down to just give a splash to my friend. I gave a detailed step plan, and so that all the technicalities are in that plan. And so I just kind of want to bring you guys into the conversation and see what you have to say for my friend. And the question was, how much money, does it cost to start a trucking business? Boom, there's the question. Okay, so everybody does it a little bit different. We all know that. I hope my audio is good. If there's a problem, please somebody let me know. Okay, so Buck Brown says, started mine on a wing and a prayer 18 months ago with very little capital. Right, as did I. A little bit long. It's been about that? Been a little over that for me, but yeah, I had no money. But I knew what I wanted to accomplish, and I was willing to crawl on my hands and knees and starve until I figured it out and navigated my way to get at least on my feet where, it's a journey, right? It's a lot of work on each of the bullet points. Um, Jerome Jones, live on a Thursday. What's going on? I thought I'd surprise you today, Jerome. And I thought of you too, Jerome, because you started your own authority. And so if you guys somebody wants to come in, I'll try to put up the link. Again, I'm on the phone. I'm going to get a phone call. I don't know if that'll blow this whole thing out, but let's just wing it, okay? If anybody wants to come in and talk about how they started, and this isn't so much for the company drivers, this is owner operators now, giving some advice to an aspiring owner operator / fleet owner, okay? So I know we probably talk about this all day, but I'm looking for a splash until they call me out. So CB says, I would say 100K as a safe round number for the new entrant, own authority and with hired driver. Okay. So of course I think back and I'm like, okay, I obviously did it in a very desperate way, I guess you could call it. Whatever you want to call it, it's fine. I was willing to do anything to change my life. And so I was willing to grovel, and I was willing to, I was in a financial situation where I didn't need to cover much overhead at home. And I did my research, right? I did a lot of research, pretending. And it seems like when your business gets 2 or 3 years old, now you start getting bombarded with scam calls. Come on, go away. Get the phone call off my screen. Okay. So I hope audio's back. So yeah, I blasted scam likely calls lately, and I'm like, I wonder if it's because of my business. Okay. So let me get up on my amount action. Okay, so CB channel member says 100 grand. The chances in this world right now for someone to come in with 100 grand is probably slim to none, right? So let's take a step back. Jerome Jones channel member says, don't be afraid to use a wrench, because I'll be damned if I let a TA replace 2 airbags and 4 small leaky growth tankers on the trailer for $1,556. True statement. True statement. I think, yes, you should be mechanically fine. Okay, let's step all the way back. So number one, I would say business plan. Whether you decide to write it down, which I highly recommend you get a document working on. It's tough because wheat is so volatile. But if you put that down, right? Get something started. You can get professional help to tweak it and change it and whatever. That's going to be a working document throughout your whole journey, I believe, because your levels are going to change. The market's going to change, and trying to figure out how to tell the bank or a financer, like, this is the plan, this is the revenue I plan to make. You can say that. But out here, especially if you're running, I guess it's a little easier if you have a set contracted freight situation. But in my case, I'm on spot market, so it's buck wild, like whenever. So yeah, I would say start with your plan, because you need to find out, you need to understand the why, what you aim to do. You need to do all kinds of research to understand the revenue that's related to certain modalities of freight, right? So that you can get a vision and which direction you want to go. For instance, if you want to go tanker, you're like, okay, I want to do this, this, this to go in a tanker, get my experience, blah, blah, blah. If tanker makes good money, Typically you want to know what those lanes look like, how to get into them, maybe do some research on tanker drivers, right? You get it. Okay, so research was a very, very big thing. Even when I was at JB Hunt being a company driver, before I left my good company job, I was practicing pretending that it was my truck and note, just mentally noting all the things that had to be done to the truck, the maintenance, trying to understand the cost of the things. Like, the company paid for everything, but I had to put myself in those shoes earlier. Oh gosh, but thank you. I had a phone call. So I would say, if you're in a company job and you're looking down this road and you're thinking like that's what you want to do with your trucking career, start practicing on the company truck. Start pretending on the company truck. Get the motions going and whatever. Because regardless, you're gonna number one is get a truck, right, guys? Number one, figure out how you're gonna get your equipment. There are hard ways to get your equipment. There are lease purchases. There are leases if your credit's good enough or if your business is old enough. Right? And that's a whole nother ballgame. But just to keep the beginnings of this, to help the person kind of look at all, open up to the idea and whatever. CB channel member says, if you don't know what EBITDA is or interpret it, learn it, then consider starting a trucking company. Very good point, CB. Very good point. CB says owning a successful trucking company is about finance, not revenue. Absolutely. So I would say that is apart from the mechanics of going through the motions and trying to figure out how I was going to get a truck and how I was going to survive a lease purchase, because that's what I chose to get my truck. Now my business is almost 3 years old. And so now I am in a new level. And now it's like, okay, so when you look at growth from this point with all that you've learned up until now, now it's, I was forced to get good with my numbers. So I believe you need to understand that in your research is getting good with your numbers. And so that changed my life. If I would have gotten good with, understood my numbers, by the way, Truckers Education Network channel, Jeffrey teaches a very perfect, successful way of getting to understand your numbers. And so that, and again, this is spot market related, right? But even if you get a dedicated account, you're going to have to put quotes out and make those relationships with those people. And let's say you get there, you have to know the numbers of your business. That is a big golden key. And then in the side of that is now you have to learn the finance part of it, and you have to understand is your credit good? Because if your credit's not good, you've got to go through that journey as well to build your credit so that you can eventually get to your business credit, which is a work in itself. This stuff is not fast. It is not easy. You have to put the work in. Snorlord, the Metalhead Viking Caveman Trucker says, don't give any pro tips. It's all simulation. We live in the Matrix. Yeah, so we're talking about trying it for new aspiring entrepreneurs in trucking. Where do you start? And I got a question from one of my dear friends that was like, how much money does it cost to start a trucking company? That is it's a very complex question when we start trying to answer that, right? So I thought I would bring the pros in for the chat since I have a few minutes and let you just spill out some advice. So now I'm back. Now I'm in what CB says is right. This is a money game, like any other business. So it would do you well to have a business mindset. It would do you well to understand finance. This is lots of work. I can list it off, but what really goes into understanding each one of these pieces, it is necessary for you. And it's hard lessons. And as you go, you're going to make mistakes, right? And stuff. And so you want to research as much as possible to help yourself. This is a very expensive business, and this equipment is very expensive. And figuring out how you're going to get some is already, if your credit's not up to par, it's already a couple of years in the making there, so that you know that your credit has to be outstanding. And then you're going to have to go through the battle of building business credit, which is difficult in itself. Because if you don't build your company right to be looking good at that, then you are going to probably be forced to personally take on debt. And I don't think that's smart, even though a lot of us have to do certain chunks of that to maneuver in certain times, and especially if you get hit with really big repair bills. But the goal is to ideally not have to pay personally for your business. You're going to at intervals, but but in lieu of that, building business credit is going to take you to be able to have such a strong credit background so that you could co-sign to get stuff for your business, to help your business eventually build business credit, right? And so, are we still good? Buck says, let me put some of these up. I'm sorry. Can you guys, I hope you guys can hear me. I know I got the air on. I'm trying to breathe. It's hot here. Learned that the old school way. CB, everybody is the a-hole. Everybody is the a-hole. And then there's that, right? There's so much. So it's very hard to just answer that question very simply, right? But I thought, well, I'm going to bring my bros in here and see what they got to say, because we all got advice, right? It's so dynamic. Logistics is so ever-changing and dynamic, and we are learning so much as we go. So even if you can answer that in the short answer, you better roll up your sleeves and get ready to work. Believe me, if I could have found a way around it, and I still was blessed in the way my situation worked out, which is unusual. I'm very grateful. I can't say that that's ever going to happen to anyone, right? So if I backtrack to Dart, and again, Rhodes Scholar just did this. Rhodes Scholar went to Dart, stayed there for some years, successfully paid off his truck, and has finally started his own authority because he's ready to try the next level, right? Now, you can ask him. He's put in some years, and he's finally there, and he's not walking out with a brand new truck, right? Because now, once you get trucks, if you're not financially able to have investors or whatever so that you can just go buy a new truck with a warranty, you're going to get a used truck, hopefully with a warranty. Trust me, I would recommend a warranty. I've learned the value it is to saving my you-know-what. Because when I was at Dart, I was one major breakdown, I was gone. I was done. I'd have been in debt to them forever, and a whole mess of things. So be careful with lease purchases. All I can scream is do your research in every scenario. Put yourself in every scenario and walk it out in your brain. This will take about 1.5 years, if not longer, in my opinion. CB channel member says, invest a few grand into a publicly traded trucking. Pop this up. Phone doesn't work as well as my laptop. Okay. Invest a few grand into a publicly traded trucking company so you get access to their quarterly earnings reports. Yes, I did that too, CB. I didn't think of that. What they track and what truckers track is totally different. And that's interesting. And it will open your eyes to how to do this right. Right. So it's not only, I mean, your mentality can start with, okay, this is the dream. I want to do this. I want my own business. I would like to end up with people driving. And then you get all that out of the way and you get operating and stuff, right? And then the reality of the financial side of this business really begins to touch you and to wake you up to it. And guess what? You got no choice but to step up if you're really going to continue your business. You got no choice but to like be in college and learn this and learn and start digging and digging and digging for information. That has been the biggest part of my trucking career, is trying to supplement my education as I go, which is very difficult because you're working your face off. So I'm trying to consistency and steady, and it's like, and again, there are going to be days where it's like, how bad do you want it? You know, how much are you willing to sacrifice? How much are you willing to pay? How much are you willing to cut back on personal expenses? How much are you willing to fight? How much are you willing to stay on the road? It's no small task. And in the beginning, you really have no idea until you actually start putting yourself in that skin and you start putting yourself in that situation. You start asking people who are doing it, and you will hear a lot of discouraging things. And I am not trying to discourage anybody. I'm trying to prepare you mentally with mindset. This is what you're going to do. You better get ready to break every nail, go days without showers sometimes, and eat less sometimes, and be away from home extra sometimes for a long time. These are real sacrifices that you are going to come up with. Good morning, Spectre. How are you? I've got all the right people in here for this question. So, Spectre, I don't know if I got to catch you up, but I'll repeat it. I had a friend who asked me about how much money it costs to start a trucking company. So that's the question on the table. And so I'm asking these seasoned veterans out here, that are you guys in the chat, because y'all got years on you and you've done things. Any encouraging advice, any straight up advice. And it turns out to be it's a lot. I can understand why we all it's warnings. It's warnings because we've made mistakes. And as a student myself, I'm still learning. So I don't know everything. But that's why I put my journey out here. And but for those of you guys, everybody wants a clear, easy pathway, and there just isn't one. You got to go get your bumps and bruises, I think. And you've definitely got to do your research. And you've got to get mentors. Get in relationship with people. I would not have made it as far as I did, as fast as I did, if I did not gain this community, mentorship. I constantly say that to you guys, right? I constantly express my gratitude to all of you for being that for me. And I work very hard to pay attention and build my company successfully and consistently so that it will be good fruit out of all of this. And that you will be proud of me, right? Because you invested time to watch my journey and talk with me and answer my questions. And so you have been a very invaluable, valuable part of my journey. And of course, my big advice would be to tell my friend, you better you better get a community around you because it's a team effort. It's a team effort. Yeah, that's the question. Spectre says how much it costs to run a truck or fleet. Wait, we're supposed to shower? Snorlax says I don't break nails. I try to keep them trimmed. Snorlax says I would start with. Let me put this up. The phone's a little slow to put this up. I would start with 3 months home bills and 3 months projected bills in the bank and very little self-requirements. For example, home time, running, or et cetera, right? Because another reason why I feel like I've been able to stay, afloat is because I took the advice and I think I've been working on my overhead since day one. And that has taken me every gosh dang part of the last 2.5 years. That has included me going to exterior education channels, learning how to manage debt, learning how to pay it off faster, looking for, strategies, etc. It's not like I didn't know. I wasn't stupid, but I'm always looking for a better way, right? So I'm digging in. I'm a geek about efficiency, so I'm always trying to learn more and more on how I can be more efficient. But being able to get rid of my personal overhead has been a big key in my journey too. And not everybody has that ability. People have families, people have children, people have dependent young adults, or whatnot, right? Whatever. People have mortgages, people have apartments, people have car payments. So that was a big key that has helped me stay alive out here. I'm trying to put Spectre's comment up here. Spectre says, first thing to figure is projected business expenses and market research. Right. So I started the conversation discussing the business plan, right? You should have a plan. And I have a paper plan. It's changed about 10 times by now. So it's a daunting responsibility. It's like you hate to, it's like a resume. You got to go back and update it, right? Things change. Things have changed so much. But yes, have a plan. Hopefully you have a strategy, right? Hopefully you do enough research. You're like, okay, this is my plan. This is my strategy. And this is what I plan to do. And it's still going to change as you go. Here we go. Spectre says, then figure out if your business can afford to pay yourself and what you need versus want. Yeah, that comes into the breaking down of you financially. Because you have to cut costs. You have to cut costs. You have to be efficient. You have to master that. And that hurts. That hurts going through it. WCF Invader is in the house, in the truck, in the cab. Says Shannon, getting to catch a live now that I was a waste of time for my dispatcher. Sometimes I'm always surprised he doesn't fire me from his lineup. Tolga says, yay, end of the day. Excellent timing. Cheers. Oh, it's just the beginning of the day here, pretty much. We're early. We're still on coffee, Tolga. But thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. WCF Invader says you can never have enough or too much savings. That's what I'm learning in this market. Yeah. So if you just want to talk about your financial situation, in an ideal world, you would have, you got to go buy the truck, and then you got to have maintenance money in the account, which should be $20,000 to $50,000, and then your credit should be impeccable. And then you got a fighting chance. Are there creative ways around that? Yes, but you are going to pay with your life. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just understand, like, it's how bad, that goes back to how bad do you want it? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to fight the fight? And even guys that have that still have to fight the fight, right? It's a matter of choosing what works best for you. If you do, if you're coming in broke, you're gonna wing it out of prayer. The research that you have to do on getting a truck, lease purchase, or otherwise alone is like a lot of phone calls and a lot of research if you're going to go that route. T-Bone says, wait, you mean you can't just wing it? Can, but guess what? Get ready to pay. You're going to pay in a whole lot of ways versus maybe just a couple structured ways. Poster says, then accept and understand what your business earns and profits is not all yours. Learn discipline very quickly and maintain. Yeah, you're gonna. It's going to whoop you into shape like a good parent, right? Like a good drill sergeant. WCF Invader says, my key is low, very low operating expense. I hate doing 55 miles an hour, but when I get fuel, I love doing 55 miles an hour. Toga says, and it's about the goals. As I saw till today, there's enough amount of investment. There's not enough amount of investment, nor enough level to say, all right, I'm completed. Yeah, especially if you're literally like, okay, like me, like, right? Like my vision was to have a fleet of 3 trucks. I question that all the time. I pray about it because I don't know if that's the path the Lord has laid out for me, but that's the dream I started out with. And we're just going to let him direct my path. But I'm hoping, and sometimes I don't hope that at all. Sometimes my mind changes and it's like, okay, I want to get into equipment instead, right? I don't do a hard change my mind, but I think about it. I think about other options, right? It says the largest cost, Spectre says the largest cost when starting is your time, which is your most valuable thing, right? You are going to pay. It's not just money. But when it comes to the money part, if you're not good at math and you don't know about finances, and if you don't know about interest rates, and if you don't have a business mindset, and you're not a risk taker, and you're an investor or not an investor, you don't understand investing, it's going to be harder. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm spitting out, maybe I'm talking to myself what I've learned, but it was a very interesting topic because I'm like, how do you answer that question? How do you answer that when somebody asks you, well, how much to start a trucking company? It costs about $50 on paper. Then you got your trucking company. But then the next thing is to get a truck. That opens up the matrix, right? What are you gonna do? Oh, sorry, Spectre, I didn't read this. The largest cost. Oh yeah, I did. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It is. Understand, unless you got big friends with millions of dollars and they're ready for you, to back you on everything. and all that. Some people have that. I mean, I've seen people on Instagram that claim like, they got in 2 years ago and now they got 82 trucks. I'm just saying, maybe some crazy stuff can happen like that. But in my reality, this is me starting out barefoot, naked in the woods, and trying to survive. And then getting past that point where the fruit comes, right? I'm still gardening. I'm still working. Okay, WCF Invader. This is a good example. My goal is multiple trucks within 5 years. Goal was placed exactly 2 years ago now, and we shall see. Somehow it's still working and I'm still in business. But, right, I bet you're learning so much stuff that you never even thought of, right? Checking with MCs in the house. Thank you for coming in. The question on the table today is, how much money does it cost to start a trucking company and maybe have a driver drive for you? A friend asked me this question. I'm bringing it to you guys. You're the pros. WCF Invader says, I started with 24K and it really wasn't enough. Aaron Petticourt is in the house. Good morning, Aaron. It's good to see you. Tolga says, but don't get me wrong, I'm not ready, but I'm pretty happy with new and higher goals, which that's the way to raise up. Yeah, but be ready to grow, right? Always be ready to grow. Be willing to grow. Your mind is going to be reformed through sacrifice, right? In my opinion. Okay, I'm no pro, but I'm saying like that's my feelings. And shame on you, Instagram, whatever you guys are, what planet you're on, and whatever you came. I'm so irritated, and I don't rant very often, you guys. But so for someone like me, and then I go watch some of these Instagram things that are trying to sell you this, teach you how to start a trucking business and make all this money and all the things that they say. I literally want to go off sometimes on them. Because not only are they my opinion, here's my opinion portion of this coffee chat. My opinion is they're taking advantage of their own people. And all that's involved in this, I don't believe you can teach in a course. Maybe you can get somebody started in the right direction. But to sell someone a course, you're selling someone a dream, and you're sitting here like, oh, I did it. I got 15 trucks and it's only been 5 years, something like that. It's the things that they're not telling real people. That's what really ticks me off. CB channel member says, rule of thumb is trucking. Don't buy one until you can afford two. And that's true, CB. I've learned that. Like if I could go back and in a perfect world, no matter what, if I went out and bought my own new truck today, in my mind, the right thing to do is to have 50 grand at your disposal. On top of that, on top of the price of the truck. I wouldn't get one without warranty. I would have 20 to 50 grand in the bank just sitting there, and then buy the truck. And if you can put those three things together to start your business, and then afford the initial insurance and the way that you're going to have to run freight at the beginning of your authority, You're going to have to take it in the butt. You got to understand what all that means. That's a lot of stuff wrapped into a one sentence. Then you're off on some soft slippers. And it's still going to be hard. But yes, can you come in with nothing? And yes, can you find yourself a situation to battle through? And yes, can you get a hold of a truck somehow? And you better just hope you get the right thing, or at least the right type of lease purchase where you understand the freight, you understand, and you may run for somebody, but you better get good at math, baby, and you better read that contract, because that's a whole nother level in itself. It's a whole nother game. And you can do it, but you need to understand what you're doing to yourself, what risk you're putting yourself at, what happens when something happens, when you're in a contractual agreement. Ask all the questions. Put yourself in every scenario, right? It's so beefy. I had to bring it to you guys. I had to be like, oh, all these guys got some good advice on that. The postscript says what they aren't saying is that they too high interest working capital loan or merchant loan and are in extreme debt. Oh, that's what they don't say. They show their cars and they show their jewelry and they show up on the little talk shows and they celebrate their success. Look, you guys, let me just look at Spectre and Jeff and DIY. I know from being a business person that these guys know what they're doing. They're focused on what they're doing. They're working hard at what they're doing, and their business partners are working hard at the same dream together, right? If that was real and if that was the way to go, like, you guys would have done that already to make it easier, per se, easier on yourself. But there are some people that got daddy's money, and there are some people that got investors, and there are some people that have that, and no hate on them. My hate part is what they're taking advantage of their own people, and they're not telling them what they're in for real. My opinion. That's what, yeah. I want to fight them. Like, there's no love in that. And they make it all flashy and glorious and all this stuff, right? Aaron says, yeah, amen. Understand that you are it's risk. Man, there's so much risk. Which, to a weirdo like me, I'm excited. That excites me. But it's okay. At the end of the day, you're not going to die. And if this is what you want to do with your life, understand that it's a life journey. And you're going to fight for it. And there's going to be a lot of times do you ever get to the end? No, you don't. You're going to always be an adapter and adjustment. And you're going to have to be willing to flex and be willing. You're not working on your laptop dispatching trucks from the beach, maybe once in a while. But that takes so many years, doesn't it, Spectre? Are you sitting on the beach dispatching trucks yet? I know Jeff's not. I know DIY's not. I mean, you guys might be able to once in a while, but that's the dream these Instagrammers are selling. Like, oh yeah, and look, it's money, guys. It's money. It's money, and that's why you have to literally I don't plan on paying myself. I don't. I was trying to do that. But I've learned something else now, and that's not happening right now. And the benefit of me being able to get rid of my personal expenses has allowed me to put all my eggs in the business basket and then adjust accordingly to build those finances. Because at this point, now that I've gotten rid of my personal stuff, I have one less person to worry about. And so now I can make my investment into the company almost completely and set the things up at how they need to be set. And my new journey and my business part is setting my business up attractively so that in the right way, so that if at any point it ever wants to be bought, or at any point that I need to go get some equipment to the bank, that they can look upon my business favorably. All my ducks are in a row, all my paperwork, my tax returns, um, everything is documented properly in every structure, every piece of that structure, which has been a whole nother thing I had to dive into and learn, looks good to a financial partner or the bank. I want my business to be so strongly built like that. And that's a work. That's another work and journey in itself. Post Trip says, or had an investor that are selling future profits at 3 to 10% annually, right? And if you don't know what that means, folks, or any new people, you can dig into understanding his sentence for a little while. That's a knowledge that you need to know. Aaron Petticourt said, started with $3K after I purchased a truck for 27. And there you go. You can do that. You can have just a little bit money, and then the rest is prayers, or maybe credit, right, Aaron? Maybe you had good credit, so you're like, hey, if crap hits the fan, it's going to be financed on my butt personally, and that's what it happens. I don't care who you are. I think it's going to touch you like that at least once or twice, because it's a lot of work to build business credit to keep it completely separate from you. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of structural work that I've been doing for a while to make sure that I'm operating according to that structure properly and all of that. And I don't even have my own authority yet. And I don't know if I'm ever planning on getting my own authority, because that stuff's expensive. And I've seen the benefit of us working together. Like, I pretty much am in love with this whole fact that we can build together. I love that. I love it. And so there's that. Aaron says, I think everything through thoroughly and plan for the worst. Yeah, that's kind of how I do, right? TJ Bolo once in the house. He says, good morning, Shannon. Good morning, TJ. We're on StreamYard from the phone, so I can't promise quality, okay? And if I get the phone call at any point, we might get blanked out. So just bring in the juicy conversation to the table this morning to help friends, to help give a real perspective from real pros and real truckers here, what reality is, and not all the foo-foo, like, oh, you can get into trucking for nothing. And you can. But it's not really nothing. You're gonna pay with time. You're going to pay. The great thing is that there are some crazy predatory leases out there. So you can start somewhere. You can start with something and make nothing, but it will be no easy task. I don't think any avenue you could go there's going to be an easy button, right? I just don't believe it. I know some people have got, research. These purchases are going to suck the life out of you if you don't find the right one that works. And you need to ask 1,000 questions. I'm not lying. If you're going that route, right? Robin's in the house. Good morning, Robin. CB channel member says, I used daddy's money to start my oil field trucking biz. A year later, I had 5 trucks, 5 tanks, and Dad said I had better luck making money at the casino than this trucking shit. Stevie, I don't know why you don't tell your story on your YouTube channel. Think about it. Tolga says, lovely, but he also has to know that the luck factor is almost 80% in the business area as well. We fight luck out here every day, guys. Every day. Every day we're on prayers. I don't care. Every day we're on prayers. Like, hopefully nobody gets accident. Hopefully nobody dies. Hopefully nobody has a heart attack in the truck. Hopefully the truck don't break down. Hopefully there's no giant toll bill. Like, all of that. That guy says, to be honest, it's a crapshoot either way. You buy permissions, you better make sure that the truck was very well taken care of, because it'll nickel and dime you to death, right? That's why I'm to be a good strategy mindset and a risk taker at times, and then also understanding finance and profitabilities and all those business things is huge. I'm glad I have a lot of knowledge in that already, because right today I can't fathom becoming what would have happened to me if I didn't have it. I think that's an that's an extra hard way to go for folks. If yeah, finance is a big world. Here's a phone call. Okay, be careful. It's a scam. Okay, it's not my receiver, so it's a scam. I'm getting scam call. There we go. I have to wait it out because I know I probably lose audio every time that happens. Stevie says the best day of my life is when I sold those damn trucks and tanks. Hang on. Lost my screen. Okay, he said the best day of my life is when I sold those damn trucks and tanks and got the hell out of oil field truck. Jackknife says, oh, for goodness sakes. Let's get back. Okay. Jackknife says, you buy emissions, you better make sure you have a wheelbarrow of money to either take care of that repair cost or your downtime when the warranty work is done. Yeah, if anybody could say that, Jackknife, you're going through quite a journey, sir. You're a fighter, and I love like I hurt for you sometimes, but I learn from you. So thank you for sharing your journey, Jackknife. Like, it's definitely takes a lot of guts to do that and to fight through it. I appreciate you. Aaron Petticord says, credit was my backup plan. Mark the baby is in the house. Good morning, dear Shannon. Good morning, Mark. How are you? Jackknife says, lately it's not really been a problem for most guys taking care of the equipment. I'm sure, though, you know the lack of money doesn't help, but it's been a lack of revenue on top of everything else. Right. And that's a factor, right? Problems can stack. Nomadic Brit is in the house. Hi, Nomadic Brit. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Everybody's saying hi to Nomadic Brit. That's a treat when he comes in. So that's some juicy content here, some things that you guys laid down. And that's kind of why that was the purpose of this whole coffee chat today, because not only did I have some time to wait, but I'm in Denver, Colorado. And I always like to help a friend. And so you got to realize that people look from the outside, and who knows what they're seeing on Instagram. Who knows if they've already paid thousands of dollars for an Instagram influencers program. And it's there's so much it's overwhelming. So if you've already gone through that BS, if you've already gotten your butt kicked in a bad company lease purchase program or whatever, if you don't want to be dispatched, maybe you're thinking that that's your dream. You just want to, right? Understand. It's going to take, and don't mortgage the house to do it, to get a truck. I think all these guys would agree with me on that. Robin says, does anybody watch 18 Millie? I do. 2 months, he will no longer be a greenhorn. Oh, he's kicking butt over there. I guess just, I just want to bring some more light on how complex that easy question can be. Right? So I thank you all for contributing to answering that question. And please smash the like for me while you got a sec. And yeah, it's so much. You just gotta find a way to get in the door, and I guess get your rocking gloves on, because you got a whole nother world coming at you. And be ready to learn, ready to fight, ready to sacrifice, and get good people around you. It's great to have. It's great in the trucking community that everybody is willing to try. I don't want to know about everybody, but it seems like we're all willing to help each other where we can. Some people give bad advice, but you can weed that out. Trucking with MC, I'm interested in seeing what you've decided and how you're probably back out on the road hustling your bustle so you can get caught up, I'm imagining. Trucking with MC came out with a big challenge ahead of him, and he's been working through his journey. He got himself a truck, so it's possible. But understand, like, you might not, unless you got investors and some money, you ain't gonna have one. I'm not gonna say you ain't gonna say anything. It's hard. It's hard. If I could have done it different and still maybe had no money, I would have wanted to come in directly under a small fleet owner operator instead of having to go to the mega carrier first. But the option was available to me at the time, and I was trying to catch in a beginning foot on the market when the money was falling from the sky. And the exact opposite happened to me. So immediately I was smashed by my opportunity. What I thought was going to pan out didn't quite pan out the way I had planned. So immediately I was smashed. Has it made me a better person today? Yes. Has it made me stronger today? Yes. So even though you make a plan, it can fall apart at any time, right, guys? Oh, I missed one. Robin says you should be happy with what you do. Oh, absolutely, because then it's not work, right? The poster says, and not one if of those points hits directly in the numbers and money. Yeah, right. Right. There's so much to it. There's so much to it. You gotta have something in you, right? That's so driven. That's so gotta want it bad, man. Posterp says it's a direct point to your mindset. Mental strength is key. You will be tested. That is true. There's absolutely no doubt about that. This is going to make you. It might break you. And if you make it through that part, it's going to make you stronger and hopefully a better business person, as long as you take advantage of the education that's out there for you. It's all there. You just have to fight to dig and mine it. You have to mine it. I think my truck's done. It's not coming to me. I was gonna say they didn't come. Oh yeah, they're hooking up my line. Okay. Am I all set? Am I all set?
Take a lunch. Take a lunch.
Lunch?
Yeah. 11:30.
So they didn't start me yet?
Yeah.
Did they start on it?
A lot of trucks.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to see because I didn't know I missed a call and they were done or
Yes. 12:45.
they get done and then they'll start.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
Today is very full.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Oh, that's okay. He said my eyes were beautiful. Okay. Did you? I've been here all this time, and they haven't even started my trailer yet. I heard them do something back there, and then I got out and I went to the bathroom and stuff. So by the time I got back, I was like, "Are they done? Have they started?" So he just told me that they're on lunch, and 12:45. He said 12:45. It says 11. 10:54. Maybe he was wrong about the time. He's saying 12:45 that they will start on me. Maybe he's right. My appointment was at 9:00. Guess who's making money right now? Right now, we start making money for me doing my YouTube channel. This is great. Passive income in trucking. Are we still good? Can somebody put a thumbs up if everything's still okay? Yeah, so StreamYard is so different on the phone. Okay, we're good. Okay. So they haven't even started on my trailer yet. I've been here since 8:39, but my appointment was at 9. So they put me in the door at 9, and it's 10:55. Here he comes again. Hold on. Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Free. What? He brought me a snack. He told me my eyes were beautiful, and he brought me a snack. Well, that was very nice. What a sweetheart. And then after he hit me in the stomach with like, yeah, we're going to start your truck in another hour and a half. Is that about the StreamYard? Your audio is kind of choppy. Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. I guess it's the phone. I did warn you at the beginning. I'm trying to StreamYard from the phone. I thought somebody might want to come in and say stuff about the topic on the table. So I tried it from StreamYard. I've never done StreamYard from the phone. I've always done it from the laptop. So this is on the phone. So I apologize if it's crappy. We're learning as we go, even on this journey, right? I am in Denver, Colorado. I was in Lynchburg, Virginia the other day. And I ran all the way across here. Super light load, so that was awesome. I got to drive like there was no tomorrow. I-70 is so much fun for me because I get to drive my truck. Who brings you back a snack? I'm not eating it. You know why I'm not eating it? Because we don't know what's in it and there's no ingredients. And I'm on a strict fitness regimen right now. But yeah, trucking with MC. I am in Colorado. Toga says, okay, not a big deal though. Was just curious. Okay, I hope it's not too bad. I hope it's not too bad. So yeah, mindset, right? It's a big question. And I often think like, is there's never one way where we can all agree like this is the best way. And I'm only saying this because 9 times out of 10, the people that want or can imagine themselves doing this or want to do this are trying to change their lives and they're trying to change their financial situation, or they want their own business because they're sick of working for other people. That was my case. Building businesses was not my issue. Finding something that was sustainable and that I could love was the issue. It did, I didn't want to be away from home. I didn't want to be away from my kids no more because that sucked. But I wasn't playing. I wasn't trying to sell Avon. I wasn't trying to, I was looking for something big. I was looking for something that I make things bigger, right? So I wanted something that I could just really build and then have something that's valuable enough to benefit my family later, and really turn into something solid, and not have to worry about recessions. And I mean, yeah, we got to worry about them, but trucking's not going anywhere. It's a matter of strategy and all that you can do to survive, which is tough, but it can be done. I didn't want the I'm going to sell a product thing like that. I wanted a service that is going to be necessary. And perhaps if it needed to adapt and adjust to be able to flex and move and whatever the world does. That really excited me about trucking. And there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to take my first 2 years, because I had to plan it out. My first 2 years was going to be paying my dues. I knew I had a lot to learn. It's a whole different industry for me. I had to start over like brand new and learn a whole new thing. And I was prepared. I was prepared to do that for my family, whatever it takes. And I knew I could be successful because I usually am in whatever I do, but it's a matter of like I had to learn how. I had to learn. I had to learn. And so I was happy at JB Hunt. I had a great job there. I had benefits, I had life insurance, I had stocks, I had whatever. I had that job, which made my parents happy. They're from that school. If you got a good job and you got benefits and you got a 401k, then you've made it. So they think I'm absolutely crazy and don't even understand my business. Dad's always like, I don't know why you lost that good job. So it's that. But yeah, the job was good. I found a good job. I found a couple good jobs right out of CDL school. I was very fortunate there too. But was I attracted to the thought of freedom? Yeah. Was I attracted to the fact that like even when I went into CDL school, like I was so sick of working for somebody else. I was so sick of being a talented person that was on the team. And at the end of the day, like I'm still waiting for a paycheck. I'm still making them money. And no matter how much I went over above and beyond, no matter how much more I worked, it was taken from me. Like in a W-2 job, it was like I work. I don't have no problem working long weeks. But the more I would make, the more the stinking IRS would take. And I'm missing my family. I'm stuck in traffic for 5 hours in a given day. And I'm paycheck to paycheck and sometimes below that because of the kids. You know, I couldn't stop. I had to do something that I do there's endless growth opportunity here. And it's a challenge I'm absolutely in love with in some weird mental way, passionate way. So, and then when you actually get out here, there's that. If you love it, some people don't, but for me, I fell in love with everything I see, and it's incredible. So, and when a woman's in love, you guys can't tell her nothing. That's a fact. That's facts right there. Hashtag facts. Oh, okay. Trucking MC says he's leaving out in the morning. Fantastic. Trucker with MC says, I think it's more the service. Sometimes mine goes great. Sometimes, okay. Are we having troubles again? Cheap freight hauler channel members in the house. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I went off on my little tangent about my trucking passion. It took me left. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'm super passionate about it. Sometimes I get mad at myself for that. Cheap freight hauler is sitting in the recliner with my feet up. Well, that's good. Soak in that rest. I'm glad to hear that. Uh-oh, Gia! Gia! What are all you sexy beasts up to? Look at Chicken Hawk. Where have you been, sir? I know you've been working hard. Or you've been vacationing hard, either way. Thank you for coming in, Chicken Hawk. I've missed you very terribly. Aaron says, LOL, our tax codes are not set up to benefit employees. Yeah. And the more I learn, okay, so right now, the more I learn about finance and the more I learn about from being a business owner at this level, and our knowledge of what's really going on out there in the world is becoming more and more to the surface. I'm not only on a mission to be free, but I'm on a mission for my children so that they can be free. Yeah. And I believe in my heart and with everything within me that I can have it. I might have to fight harder than some people, and that's okay. So my efficiency is about that too, about time. I'm not getting any younger. Right? Chicken Hawk's been good. Thank God, Chicken Hawk. Thank God. I'm so happy to see you, Chicken Hawk. So the question on the table, what we've been chatting about is, I had a friend who asked me the simple question about how much money does it cost to start a trucking company? So all these gentlemen have been very kind, and all of you coming in now, I'm trying to catch you up. That's what we've been discussing. And it was a pretty good discussion, so you should watch the replay. Hit the like on the way in, Chicken Hawk. It's a big question. So I'm going to share this video out with that person and hope that they watch it just as a, you know, a flash of reality. Toga says, I would love to see tax return back in our system again. They removed it for just a few years in a word in the 90s, and it would never come back, and it's never come back. That's like Turkey that we were talking about, Toga. Toga's in Turkey, in case anybody doesn't know. Toga, Chicken Hawk, I'm coming back to Florida. I'm in Denver picking up a multi-stop load that's going to take me to Florida. So I'm coming back your way, Chicky. It costs a lot of money to start a successful trucking company. Well, that's the easy answer. But the guys were putting in some input about what they would recommend to my friend. So I would like to hear yours. What would you say to me, Chicken Hawk, if I said to you, Chicken Hawk, how much does it cost to start a trucking company and maybe get a driver to drive for me? What would your answer be? That's the question on the table. So I gave my friend like a 12-step outline that I kind of worked through in my big journey. That's a written word, which I put in the description, by the way, of this video. I was able to simply send him that, but then I was like, you know what? How do you answer that? To speak it and have that discussion. How do you answer that question, right? So I had some extra time. I thought I'd bring it to you guys and finish up some coffee with you. A lot of people do come into trucking a lot of different ways and say a lot of things. And so I appreciate that somebody's looking at my journey and asking me that question. Like, I can't even answer because I started with nothing but my bare feet. And I would love to say, hey, go to the bank, tell them this. You got to have a credit score of this, and they will buy your truck and you're on your way. Like, I wish it was that easy. Tolga says they used those years' economic crisis as an excuse, but we all know what they already had created by themselves again. Oh, when someone says tax, I still remember it. Oh, I didn't know that kind of stuff was going on over there. Chicken Hawk says, I do transportation consulting and help people start trucking companies. Are you being serious? Or are you saying you're in your sarcastic little chicken hawk type of voice? What's the first 5 things you would recommend to that person asking that question, Chicken Hawk? I've already said mine. People have already said theirs. What would you say? And we've all agreed it's not simple. It's very complex. But if you were to tell me, I said to you, how much money does it cost, or how much money do I need to start a trucking company? Chicken Hawk says, I just helped a food distributor in Tampa start East Coast regional trucking operation. New truck and trailer was $310, and the driver pay is set at $17.50 a week. And that's just to move the freight. That's not even touching on insurance. The numbers get big real fast. The price is high. And I mean, when I say price like that, I mean we're talking about your time, your money, your knowledge, your body. My God, you got to stay healthy if you're going to drive. Sorry, I'm slow on comments because I'm on the phone. Toga says, oh, I don't want to talk about it more because I won't shut up on this topic. I don't blame you, Toga. It's a trigger, right? Chief Freight Hauler says, I think someone thinking of starting a trucking company should first ask themselves, what are they willing to do themselves and what for? Your why, right? That's the topic I wanted to talk about on Sunday's coffee. And we're gonna move it to next Sunday. What is your why? There's a pathway to the mentality, to getting the mindset. I think I've grown so much, and mentally, and my knowledge base was big when I came in, but oh my goodness, I'm just growing, which is fantastic. Chicken Hawk says they are in their 10th week of operation and are averaging 2,053 week net profit. That's pretty sweet. Maybe I need to hire you, Chicken Hawk, be my advisor. I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good. My net profit is not that high, but for what I'm doing much better now here than I'm here at Lake Trucking than I was at Dart. But the whole setup is different. Jeff is nothing but encouraging to me about, letting me supporting how I want to run my business. I don't want to say letting me do this. It's not that. It's he's supportive, and he still is a mentorship to me, right? So if I have any questions, or if I want to make any moves, I will consult him first. I'm very fortunate to have that, that helps a lot. Chicken Hawk says their actual weekly operating cost is $52.50 a week. Yeah, they're doing. I mean, I think that the net profit is sounds pretty nice, especially the way you described it. Arian Knoll says not 130 or not 310, but 300, not $310, but 310,000. Yeah. When you're dealing with money like that, you better know about finances. You better. Chief Freight Hauler says they must have picked up a new T680 and a new Reaper. Chicken Hawk. Chicken Hawk says yes, 310,000 for a new Kenworth T680 and a utility 3000R trailer. Chicken Hawk says, yep, you know me, I'm KW. Aaron, I'm sorry, I said Arian. Aaron Knowles. Your name is spelled different. That is really cool. He says, cool, Chicken Hawk. Chicky, let's catch up. I want to learn about that, what you just said. I'll be in Florida, I think around Thursday. I know you got to work. But yeah, guys, thanks for your input from my friend. When you're really talking about the nuts and bolts and the money and stuff like that, if you find a good smaller carrier to work with where you have the opportunity to get one of their trucks that you know that they've taken care of it, and they're usually willing trying to help somebody else come up, it's a way better choice than a mega carrier. I'm telling you that from experience and opinion. That's my opinion. Aaron Knoll says, Pace, Florida in the house here. I'm coming, Aaron. I got 6 stops in Florida alone. I'm in Denver picking up right now. So I'll be around this weekend, guys. Pretty sure. I might have to take 34 by then. We'll see what's up. Chicken Hawk says it was a big, expensive undertaking. Right. So therein lies the challenge to the question is like when somebody says, how much does it cost to start a trucking company? To answer that simply is just impossible. It can't be simply answered. Unless you can, if they're looking for the dollar amount, what's the dollar amount, guys? Throw in one number, boom. Like if money was no object to you, what would the number be? If you were to go to the bank and borrow that one number, what would that number be? That's a good question. Cheap freight hauler says I'm headed to Anna Maria Island. CB says, is that Colorado multi-stop run to Florida a regular thing for you, Shannon? I'm trying to make it a regular thing. I'm working on a relationship. It's a little bit difficult because you get something that's kind of a sure thing one way, right? But then you got to worry about getting back there from wherever it is. So it's dynamic. So, right. It's not like a marriage or commitment can be made on this thing. It just has to be worked on. And if I can figure it out, which I'm working on, it's a great thing. Chicken Hawk says, but it saved them $40,000 a year on freight costs and gave them control over their products being delivered on time. And efficiency is profit in the food distribution business. Yeah. Well, yeah, because they don't have to pay a service now, right? Good work, Chicken Hawk. Post Trip says minimum 10 to 15,000. That's minimum, right? I was gonna say that's minimum. Yeah. That's on a minimum. Start cost doesn't include equipment purchases. Yeah, because let's just say you can go buy a truck on payments, right? Fine. If your credit is good, you can finance something. Then there's a down payment, whatever that's going to be. There's so many ways. Chicken Hawk says, Cheap Ray Holler, it's a nice place to relax. A little hot this time of the year, but still nice. It is. I love that place. Aaron says, $1 million? Then I would flee to Mexico and live the rest of my life with style. Yeah, I mean, you could, if you had, let's say you had $1 million, would you really start a trucking company? That's a thought. CBU channel member says, I see what you're working on there. I did Atlanta to Denver and back every week for 2 years straight. Yes, 104 weeks in a row. I netted the most doing that run. Yeah. Well, you know me, I like to go to Florida. And I like it and hate it because it's hot. And Shannon needs a name for you guys. But I like being in the South. I like running in the South, of course. I love running in the Midwest the most. I'll go anywhere pretty much within certain, with the exception of a couple areas, but I'm not bougie like that. Like I will go get money. I'll go get that money. But this run, I've ran it a couple times and I like it. It's probably not something I would run in the winter, but right now, while it's okay, while I feel comfortable with it, it's what I'm doing. And building a relationship, nurturing a relationship, and go and get that money. It's an opportunity I have, and I'm taking it, and I'm trying to take care of it. And in a few months, we'll see if I have to pivot or do something else or whatever. But right now, I'm trying to work it out. But in the process, you guys, I'm learning how to do that part, right? I like trying different things to learn more stuff. Chicken Hawk says it's hard. It's hard to come up with a number, but in my opinion, you would need $100,000, liquid cash on hand, and fairly big credit. I tend to, say like, yeah, that's what I would say. If you got that, then you can, that'll take a whole lot of error, maybe out of the way. I make your entry softer, I guess. Don't comment on what I just said. Check it out. Chief Ray Heller says, I've been back and forth between Georgia and Houston for the last 10 days. Been hot and dry. Hopefully I'll have a nice breeze while in Florida. Yeah. Aaron says, LOL, no trucking, just living it big off that free money I got from the bank. Haha. Part-time trucking retired says, hey, a CB, at least you knew where you were going. Seems I know where I'm going, but never know the last few miles if it's always a new place. Yeah, that's kind of how the situation is. So I can't tell you where I'm going to end up, but I can tell you about where I'm going to be and about what day I'm going to be there. Because it's 13 stops. It's 13 stops. And I kind of dig it. This is what I dig about it. My week is there. My week is done. I know what I got to do. And I get to just run and go get it. Big Truckins in the house. Say boom. Or boom. Or boom. Boom. Yeah. So, Faye, we've been talking about answering the question, how much money does it take to start a trucking company? A friend asked me, Faye. So that was the question on the table for this chat today. Everybody's been very gracious in giving some insight that I will pass on to my friend. I will pass this video on to my friend. CB says part-time flat land, cheap fuel, no tolls, and less traffic. Turn and burn for the win. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get there, CB. One day I'll be able to have more knowledge on being more efficient and making the right relationship that I could just kind of like focus on without running my truck a million miles. Eventually. Chicken Hawk says this company I assisted spent $310,000 for the truck and trailer. And pays $27,000 a year for insurance. And the driver makes $17.50 a week salary. 91. Wow. They must make they're a manufacturer though, right? That's interesting. I would love to talk about that. Over a margarita and a Cuban sandwich on some beach in Florida, some little place that has umbrellas and a nice breeze, Chicken Hawk, view and Special K. That would be great. Part-time trucking retired says what I hated was the address on the paper was a few years old and they had moved the year before. Uh-oh, what I miss? Did I miss a comment? Oh, he's talking about the delivery. Chicken Hawk says it's an expensive business. It's a very, very, very expensive business. And if you want to grow, guess what? It gets way more expensive. Duh. This equipment ain't cheap. This is a serious game. Obviously. I'm not saying anything that y'all don't know. I'm just saying, like, I guess, But that, but you can enter it. You can begin. You can fight your freaking face off. You can. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. But it's the thing is just answering that question when your friend or a new person who is aspiring asks you that question. It's like, God, I can't answer that. Faye says, that's a hard question to answer, right? And so I submitted to my friend the 12 points pathway, if you will, that I put in the description of this video. I at least sent that on, and I thought I thought it would be great to get some real time talk about it, so that then I can send the video to follow that up. I'm trying to provide some helpful guidance as much as I can. Every face says that's a hard question to answer. Everyone is in different places. Some people need way more than others to live. Right. Right. And we had discussed that earlier. Absolutely. Wheel Burner Express is in house. Wheel Burner. Oh my gosh. Wheel Burner and Chicken Hawk in the same room again. Chicken Hawk says, Wheel Burner, what's happening, you sexy beast? Faith says, my brother owns a restoration and concrete company, way more expensive than my business. Really? Yeah, then there's construction, right? Yeah. It's the equipment, right? Anything that you do with large equipment is going to be like, sure. Everybody's saying hi to the Wheel Burner. Thank you for coming in, Wheel Burner. And Fate, I already said that. Everybody's saying hi. Just hanging out at home recovering. From what? God, it just got loud on Wheel Burner. What is there? Because I'm concerned. What happened to you? What are you talking about? Are you okay? Oh, look out now. The chicken burner is loose, right? Well, anyways, guys. Wheel Burner, I don't know if you're just coming in, but question on the table was, how much does it cost to start a trucking company? So if you'd like to put down your answer, I'm just asking everybody to put down their answer. Asking for a friend. My friend is an aspiring owner operator, possible, getting somebody else to drive for them, etc. So that's the question on the table. We've had some really good comments, and I thank you guys for putting in your $1 million worth of wise comments that I can pass along to my friend. Chicken Hawk says, Wheel Burner, I'm at home hanging out too. No tan line, brother. Here it comes. Here it comes. Wheel Burner says it all depends on what kind of trucking company. Are you a one truck operation, 5 truck operation? Are you doing flatbed or reefer? Yeah, this is a single, let's just start with explaining this is an aspiring owner operator. Okay. Wants to start the company and maybe have a driver. And of course, we got a variation of answers because you could do it a variation of ways, right? But if you were to pick a number and go to the bank, say, I'm starting a trucking company, my credit's good, I'm going to ask for this number. I'm asking it this way because it's easier for you to answer that. So what would that number be, right? Wheel Burner says, if you're just doing a one truck operation, I wouldn't think about going into business without at least $100,000 in the bank after the purchase of your equipment with today's market. And 10 years ago, you probably would have done it with $25,000 in the bank after your equipment was purchased. The right way to truck is in the house. Hey, what's up there? Thank you for coming in. So yeah, it depends on how much you want to live on a wing and a prayer, right? And the thing is that trucking to a lot of people is like maybe their last resort, maybe the only light that they can see that they have a chance to run after. Because let's face it, even if you do it the hard way, you can get in something with no money. Or you know that you can go work a company job and you can make enough money to save enough money to get in an ideal way. Still gonna cost you a lot of time. Cutting your teeth, right? But yeah, shoot. If I had $100,000 and I could have came with $100,000, I'd probably have a second truck by now. I don't know though. I don't want to think that I would change it, because after all the hardships I've been through, it's given me what I need to know to be strong. So I'm grateful for it. Would I have had all that if it went any other way? Probably not. Probably not. So I'm grateful. Cheap Freight Hauler says, I think the question should not be how cheap I can start, but what is the best pathway to succeed and lasting more than 5 years? Yeah, that would be the perfect question. Wheel Burner said, I agree with you 100. Chicken Hawk said, Wheel Burner, I agree with you 100% that Brian, 100K on hand is a must. I would agree with that too. In a perfect world where you could get a hold of that and people could do it a little bit easier, or even if whatever, I think that's a good number. And then worst case scenario, like I wish I would have had 20 grand in the bank that I just didn't have to touch no matter what. And then I wish that my credit would have been perfect, or at least real good, so that I could have went and just got my own truck. But like I said, I value the education that I had to endure because it taught me reality. It taught me big reality. Cheap Freight Hauler says, if you start cheap, you will be more likely to make bad financial decisions. Right. And then also maybe not get a good truck, right? That's where people get it mixed up. But it comes on to the luck of the draw. Like you get a good truck, you can get a bad truck. You can spend 150 grand on a newer truck and it turns out to be shitty. Sorry, crappy. I get passionate. Or you can, some people have bought a $15,000, $20,000 truck and it's rocking. You know? Chicken Hawk says, I'm putting 8 new tires on my trailer and the bill was $4,832. That's pretty good. That's about what I had to pay. Oh, wait. Let me do the math. 4,800. So what is that per tire? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's about what I was paying at Dart for tires. I liked it. Wheel Burner says Cheap Freight Hauler is correct. So Chicken Hawk says that too. Okay, so we got lots of agreements there. Wheel Burner says, I agree with Cheap Freight Hauler. Your decision should not be based on how cheap you can do it to be successful. You don't want to be cheap, right? But you want to be frugal. You want to make smart financial decisions. You want to cut where you can. You want to stay lean, right? Running a lean business that's just a business. Any business that you do, you should run a lean business that's going to be hit your profit line. So yeah, you want to do that. Will Burner says there's too many guys out here right now doing it on a wing and a prayer. Right? Yeah, that's what we mentioned too. And because I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but you can do this. You can try this. You can find an avenue. You can find some way to come into trucking with $0. You are going to pay dearly, but you can do it. So what is right. The good question is, what is the best way? Yeah. The best way is the safest way. And I would say at this point, I would have, if I could go back and had to start all over again and do it different, I would have stayed at my job, saved the money, like those, people say that, fixed my credit while I was at my job, and then try to come in with, I would have tried to come in with, well, I would have wanted to finance a truck and then have that cash in the bank. I think that's what I would have wanted to do. I would have wanted to finance the truck so that I could keep the cash in the bank. That's probably how I would have done it. If I was to do it all over again. But I'm good now. Like I've spent some years working on my credit. I've been working on building my business, right? I've been learning all this and all the ups and downs and stuff like that. So I'm recovered now. But I came in on a wing and a prayer. And after my warranty ran out on the Freightliner, I was still right there. So all that work I did and all the ups and downs and the starving and the and all of that, I was still going to walk out of that lease purchase deal with nothing, with the same nothing that I had when I showed up. Woo! Take me down memory lane, guys. Okay. Chief Ray Holler says, I've got a friend that bought a used truck at the height of the market and financed at 26% interest. I didn't know him at the time, but he's now working on unraveling his bad decisions. Oh my God, that interest rate. That you will be had if you don't know about finance. Get to work. You didn't like math in school? You better learn some math, sister. You better go back up the truck, get some math, get some business training. You will be had if you're not knowledgeable. You could spend $800 on their air hose like I had to. It wasn't because I was really dumb. It was just because I was in a bad situation and I made a mistake by not having an extra set of air hoses on my truck. Mistakes out here are very expensive. Wheel Burner Express says, but if you spend 150 grand on a truck and it's crappy and you have 100,000 in the bank, you have a better chance of recovering than if you had a $20,000 as a cushion. Agreed. What very well said. Wheel Burner says the best way is to have too much of a cushion rather than not enough of a cushion. I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Amen to that. Chicken Hawk says, no, you can't. All cheap truckers with no cash reserves. Quit and let me, Wheel Burner and Cheap Freight Hauler, set the freight rates. It would be better for everyone. I agree with that. Wheel Burner says, I would never buy a truck outright. I would always finance it and have a payment. I mean, I could go either way, really, but it's the way my business mindset is about, if the more cash you can keep in the bank, I think the better that you are, or you have cash to invest, right? You can multiply that cash. So that's why I like the payment, because the cash sits in the bank account can be multiplied. Wheel Burner says, I just read that, sorry. Chicken Hawk says, not me. I pay for my trucks in full. I hate payments and I hate paying interest. Yeah, now in that sense, okay, now we're back to the Chicken Hawk method of success, which I am absolutely gung ho about. And Wheel Burner is of the same mindset. When you're buying the trucks and then you do the method where by the 30th you pay in cash. Oh, hang on a second. We got another phone call. All right, guys, I'm gonna probably have to take this. Let me finish up. I don't still hear me. Spectre says freight can be hauled. Poster says I would disagree with that statement. No, now you're talking about experience and what kind of fee. But Werner says we've already had this talk, Chicken Hawk. If you can buy a new piece of equipment with a very large down payment and have your monthly payment reasonably low, then interest rates don't come to effect. Yeah, and like I said, like there's a lot of ways to do it, but that's where getting to know people in the industry and having mentors and chats like this and getting to learn how all the different ways you can do stuff is where you get creative and do what's right for your situation, right? It all comes down to that every time. Okay, so I got to call my broker. And thanks for hanging out, guys. Appreciate you. And good conversation. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the week. And that's a better word, frugal, right? All right, guys. Well, thanks for the chat. Thanks for having coffee with me today. And just know that I'm sure all of this is a world of help for newbies and the aspiring entrepreneurs in trucking. So I'm going to share it with those necessary and post it up for everybody. And y'all have a great day. I love you and I value your friendship. And hit the like button on the way out. Okay? Have a great day, guys.